On our way to Dayton Raceway. We've not raced yet. We've not got to the track yet. But you know what? We're so busy. This weekend is going to be insane. Sunday, we're not going to have time for anything at all except for looking at babies, making some videos, bringing them to you. So I figured the best way to do this was just this weekend we're going to keep it a little low-key like we did last weekend for different reasons. I'm going to run through all the horses, 2 through 9. Not going to do a yearling video yet. There's no need of that. I'm going to run through 2 through 9, all the horses. Just give you little updates on how they are, what they're doing. Horses that are close to being turned out. Somebody asked me a message today, sent me a message today and asked about Lady All-Star and Merchant Man, how many starts they're likely to have. The answer is simple. I plan on having 5 or 6 starts into all the babies that race and turning them out unless we have a good reason to do so. So I'm going to start right off the bat with Absolute Euphoria. She's been in 220-something with Cindy at Tamiko. She's training down, looking good. I had a little video I sent out the other day to Ken and one of my partners on Absolute Euphoria of her training. Cindy really likes this filly. She's pacing well now. The time off really allowed her to fill out, her joints to cool down. She was a rather large filly, and she might have the biggest head of any horse I've seen in the last 3 years. My God, she got big. Do you see her head?
Not really.
It's as big as the front of this car. But she's been training well, and Cindy really likes her. So she, I guess, 22. She'll still be a month away, probably. Anchors Up. He's been castrated. Now, we are going to move some horses around. I have made the decision to bring Blue Tesla and Bravura back home to Ontario. They're going to be going to Mario's barn. Mario's got some horses that are going to be racing in Flamborough and London, and hopefully they can make their way to Mohawk. It would be nice to see them do that. I think Bravura, the time was right. I was a little torn up about Blue Tesla. Her liver was high. Could she race again in that class if her liver came down? Yes, I believe she could, but I'm hoping that she can fit in comfortably in the Nomers at 50 or the condition claimer at London or Flamborough. And she's a good fit. I think both those fillies are a good fit for Mario. So they'll be going home right away to join his barn. And in doing so, we're going to move Anchors Up back over to Dominic, right? And then Rito Legacy is going down to continue her training with Cindy and Absolute Euphoria. So Anchors Up is heading over to Dominic's barn today. Now they're in the next shed row, so we're not talking about a trailer ride. It's a walk through the Bath Rack. So Dominic's going to pick up Anchors Up today. Austral Hanover's going to remain out in the field. Tim always gets pictures of all the horses, and he dropped off some pictures yesterday, and I was looking through them with Amy, and the win from the Poconos was on there. Just really impressed with this horse, and really, really happy with the way he has performed in 2022. A well-deserved rest. Who would have thought I'd be saying that in the fall? A well-deserved rest for Austral Hanover. It come back in around December 1st. Brace for landing. Now, I made a little boo-boo. I sent in a note to a couple of people. I made a brief video of it the other day. A lot of people asking, why is landing strip and tactical mounds and brace for landing we're not right back in? Very, very good question. One I should have answered a week ago. Megan's away to Lexington this week. Scotty's very close to being back. He trained tactical mounds yesterday. Said he really liked her. He was very happy with her. Now, timing. That's the issue we have, is that the classes that Brace for Landing won that class and can win it once more. Landing Strip can win it twice. Tactical Mounts can win it once. The one that she was entered in. Now, the next leg of the kindergarten. Now, I guess full disclosure, it says in the rules you have to race in 2 legs to race in the final. So they can't race in the final regardless. But the way it's worded, I believe they can populate the consolation with whomever they like. That's a New Jersey bred that is raced in even 1 leg of the kindergarten. So we're hoping we're going to do well in the kindergarten 4th leg, then into the consolation. Now that will be it for tactical mounts, but not for the 2 colts. They have the Valley Victory if we want to race them in the Valley Victory. So again, we're hoping for the 4th leg of the kindergarten. Maybe a consolation would be nice. And then if that all bodes well and goes well, then we have the Valley Victory for both those horses. So it was the timing of it, because if Brace for Landing went out and won next week, that's what, October the 8th. nowhere to race him for about 3 weeks unless you want to race him in open company, which we don't want to do. So skipping a week, racing him, and then if he doesn't win that class, great. We can race him in there again for another prep race, another prep for what would be the fourth leg of the kindergarten. So you're going to get the same speech for tactical mounds, landing strip, and brace for landing. They're not in next week, but that is by design. My apologies to all my partners. I maybe wasn't clear enough about that last week because I did have a couple of people say, why are these horses not in? That's on me. My apologies. Carter Michael Dio schooled the other day, but he was a little warm. We made some changes to Carter Michael Dio. James is going to school him Tuesday. No, it's not Tuesday this week. It's Friday. There's no more Tuesday racing at Mohawk, so there's no more Tuesday qualifiers at Mohawk, which I don't really understand completely, but they're going to have qualifiers on Friday of next week, which is completely fine with me. It gives Dominic another opportunity to train up Carter Michael Dio. We're looking for a prep race for Spitfire Overseas, and a somewhat schooler and then a prep race for Carter Michael Dio, prepping for the Breeders' Crown. I don't think these colts are lost at all in the Breeders' Crown, but they have to be sharp and they have to be ready and willing to offer up 100 or 105% in those eliminations. If we don't get a sense that they are, then they're simply going to be going to the field, and that goes without saying. But I said it. Castiles is coming back now. Mario's barn is going to absorb Castiles. The 3 horses that Rod was jogging for, so we've made room for now. Sipping on My Shine is going to Dominic's. Castiles is going to Mario's. And my 1% will be going to Dominic's just because Mario's side is full now. Columbus is racing tomorrow at Coshocton. For the love of God, I hope we have a better day at Coshocton tomorrow than we did today. What an abomination that was. Not a good showing. We had Smoking Hot Irish Girl missed the gate a little bit. She was the trailer. Somehow missed the gate and then ended up running into the back of somebody in the first turn, making a break, but didn't look awesome or comfortable afterwards. The filly that has been great at the fairs for the last 4 or 5 fairs was Whispering Song. She looked terrible. And then Purple Aura run. Well, that's been a problem. 3 of her last 4 starts have been breaks. Now, we thought we had nipped in the bud in Delaware. Was there something going on with the track? Jason said the track wasn't very good. He's probably right. But everybody had to race on the same track. So a little disappointed with today's offering from the horses, but they've been good. Smoking Hot Irish Girl has been incredible. 2 of her last 3. Purple Aura looks like she bounced back in her last race in Delaware and then regressed today. And Whispering Song, man, that was just a horrid mile from her. That happens. Coupe de Ville, luckily she didn't go. My God, thankfully she didn't go. She's got one more start. Or no, she races next week in the Consolation, I believe, or the something next week, I believe, is for Coupe de Ville. Crantini, I suspect Scotty is rushing back because he wants to make a prep race with Crantini. Again, he's in the exact same boat as Carter Michael Dio and as Spitfire Overseas. Show me you belong in the Breeders' Crown and we will take you. And that's the way it is. So I suspect Crantini will have a race in the coming weeks and we'll be prepping for the Breeders' Crown. I gotta check when the Breeders' Crown actually is. Do you have the calendar? 23rd, I thought it was 27th. You could be right.
Well, the eliminations would be.
Well, I'll just have a look. But yeah, you're right. Cunning Connie races tonight. This would be her last race of the year. Cunning Connie's made 32,000, I think. Not a bad year for a very ordinary type animal. Yeah, who knows? Who knows? She might come out swinging as a 3-year-old. She definitely raced good all year. That's pretty obvious with her numbers. So good for her. Cutie Cumber will come back in mid-November and end of November, somewhere around there. 5 Fish Species has gone progressively faster every single race this year. She's now down to 157, her last start, and a 3rd place finish in a pretty salty, tough maiden group. So good for Fish.
It's October 21st are the eliminations. October 29th is the...
Yeah, so Crantini and them will have to race. They got about 2 weeks. I say their next start will bump right up against the Breeders' Crown limb. So somewhere around the 14th, 15th, I would like to see everybody prep and see how they're coming. We will hopefully see Spitfire on the 7th, and he'll race again, or it'll be 7th and Schooler, and then Carter Michael Dio will be Schooler and race, hopefully a week before the Breeders' Crown eliminations. Pretty simple math. Where are we at here? Full Heart. She's healed up now. I think we're going to jog her for a week, as I said the other day. Jog her for a week and turn her in the field, and hope that somewhere in the field she finds her brains. That would be nice. That would be the only difference between her being effective at 3 and being sold at 3 early. Will be Full Heart. Will be her ability to understand and want to work properly with us and at the racetrack. Because the only thing holding her back is herself. You guys saw how talented she was training down. That's what happens when you don't commit to being an effective athlete, whether you're a human or a horse. That's what happens. Game, set, match. A lot of you people are asking me about game, set, match. Who is this horse? Where it came from? Now, the reason I see it is on the system. Hutchinson Harness has asked me to put it on the system, not to sell just yet or at all, but to keep track of. I know that Randy and Bob bought this filly themselves last year, had high hopes for her. She was acting really bad and actually dumped Brett Miller out of the bike in Delaware, for those of you that are watching. A little bit ornery, but her qualifier the other day was exceptional. They are charted second, which I took exception to because I won the qualifier with her in 54-4 in the mud. And she qualified very, very well. So we're going to wait, maybe a race for her next Sunday on our way home from Lexington. We could race her. You want to race her on the way home from Lexington, right? And then
she'll be in the 14th.
No, she won't. I'll ask them to get her in early. And I don't even know if this class run. So the plan is to race her next weekend, next Sunday, hopefully. I doubt it'll be Saturday, so it'd likely be Sunday. Gandalf the Black, same thing as the other horses that had got a rest. End of November, middle of November, somewhere around there, they'll come back. High Enterprise, I'm going to give her right till December 1st. There'll be no excuses for her. If she even makes a face like the horse she did this year, she will be gone quite quickly as a sophomore. I'll give her all the time in the world to mature, train down, and look good. But if I get a feeling that that's not going to take place, she won't be staying at our place. So High Enterprise is on. She's on blast. You have very little chance, very little rope left. Your leash is shortened. I'm assuming that she watches these videos. I don't know if she does or not. So Horn Player, same type as the other horses. She'll come back end of November probably. I want to give her lots of time also. Lady All-Star racing Sunday. I paid her into both stakes coming up. She can only race in one, but I paid her into the one at Mohawk and the one at London. I'm going to let her tell us over the next 2 weeks which one she wants to race in, and I'm happy to race her in either, but you can't race in both. So it'll either be the Autumn Series or the Harvest Series, one or the other, for Lady All-Star. Landing Pad will stay out till December 1st also. Again, this is a horse I got high hopes for. This horse was not a problem. Physically, he was he was growing up, and he had his aches and pains. Cut short a little bit by a pesky buck shin on him, but I think this will be a good 3-year-old for us. And I could be wrong. A little speck, he showed some speed, little speck there, but I like his attitude and I like his work ethic. I think he'll be a good 3-year-old for us. Landing Strip has been great, shown 55, 56 a couple of times, and I thought he was a little off in his left hind, his last two. Megan said they'd done some vet work on him and thought he was much, much better. So we'll see how he comes out swinging in his next. He's going to be a little short, but that's okay. We have 2 preps, hopefully, for Landing Strip. Leaps and Bounds gone to the field. I gave her every opportunity to prep for the Keystone Classic. She just wasn't going to be ready. She was touching that jack and just needs to grow up. So put some weight on, come back a bigger, stronger filly, and I suspect she will be just fine. Merchant Man, we're going to take the hobbles off of Merchant Man this week. He's going to race without the hobbles. He trained his first part of his training down, was great without hobbles. It was only towards the end of his training we had to put them on. We turned him out, castrated him, let him grow up, brought him back, left the hobbles on him. But I'd said to James, do you think he can go without them? He wanted to try. He trained him today and wanted to try him without them. So we're going to race him next week without hobbles. Mo Power Baby is now gone to the field. She's made her way back home to Schaefer Farms in Pennsylvania, where she'll be out probably till December 1st again also. More Than You Know, December 1st again. We've got to give him lots of time. We bought his brother. This is how much I think of this family. We ended up buying his down by the Seaside Brother in Ohio. I like More Than You Know. I think he's going to have a really good sophomore season for us. My 1% back now. He's over in Dominic's side. Not technically, he's not back till tomorrow. But he is back now for all intents and purposes. He's been jogging at Rod Hughes's. We'll see how he looks. I'd like to see a bigger, stronger colt this year. We'll see how he comes back. Nothing But a Dreamer. Last start of his 3-year-old season is tonight at Mohawk. Harry has asked, not that we castrate him because he's being ornery. No, quite the opposite. He just wants him to fill out a little bit more, grow up, mature. We could leave him a stud, but Harry'd asked to geld him, and I have no real reason to decline. So I'm apt to side with Harry on this. So we're going to castrate Nothing But a Dreamer after this race, and I suspect he's going to go back as big as a house as a sophomore. Oh my gosh. Unfortunately, we already castrated him, so we won't be able to go down that avenue. Another horse where he just has to show me more, right? You just have to do better. And we'll see. We'll give him every opportunity to do better, but he needs to do better in 2023. Old Check has been sold now. He has moved on, a second place finish. We split the purse money with the new owners last night. We raced him. They picked him up after the race. That was the deal. Very happy with the way he raced. I thought he was going to upset Marshall Zukov. Man, you talk about a horse look a little rough around the edges. He almost upset him, but he raced good. That's as good as we could hope for. A second beat a half a length to a horse that's been better than him all year. Yeah, good for him, and good luck with him to the new clients, or new owners. Rito Legacy is going down to join Cindy Acton, as I said to everybody. We're going to move some horses around as Bravura and Blue Tesla are heading home. Well, our home, not their home, a new home for them, going to Ontario to start racing. London Flambeau likely to start it off. Silent Assassin, she's pretty well ready to come back in, so maybe when he picks those horses, drops those horses off, can you write that down? She's out at Schaefer's. She's been out for about 4 or 5 weeks. She's not getting a lot of time off. She's on a super short leash, so she's coming back in to start back going now. Sipping on My Shine is back now. He's been jogging for a month. Another horse, hopefully, the old cuckoo nest. Hopefully we got the bird back in the hamster back in the wheel, so to speak. Well, actually, we'd have to find the wheel for the first time. He's been crazy his whole life. So hopefully Sippin can find that brain power that he needs to be a horse. He feels like he wants to be good. He just doesn't understand anything at all. And hopefully he grows up, because he could be a pretty decent horse for us if he does. Sir Strong, I think this horse will benefit from being turned out. He's shown a lot of tenacity, and the Sir Strong that I saw training down is the Sir Strong I saw when he made that break in his last start. He was almost angry with himself. He caught up, but when I caught up, he didn't go into like berserk mode. He caught up, sat behind a horse. When I moved him out, he passed him and tried to catch up. He did everything we asked him to, and I think he just, little mental lapse on his part coming out of the gate in Northfield Park. First time ever racing on a half, first time in a new track. I can give him a lot of excuses, but at the end of the day, I just think he's a nice horse. I think I'm going to have a lot of fun with him in 2023. Sister Solange, again, all the time in the world to fill out. You'll see her come back December 1st. Smoking Hot Irish Girl, I expect a good finish to the year. Terrible race at the fair today. And I'm pitching it. Missed the gate, ran into the back of somebody. We're going to throw that race out and hope that she forgets about it also and comes back good at Northfield for next week's consolation. She fits, I believe. Maybe. I think. I hope. Definitely made it to the Buckeye final either way. Spitfire Overseas, we talked about prepping this horse for the Breeders' Crown. We'll see how he preps next week. You guys are going to get to see it all unfold. There'll be no hiding this. Either he does good or he's out in the field. That's it. So we'll see how Spitfire does. Swinging Senorita's done tonight also. Win, lose, or draw, the year we've had with her, which she made like 150, 60, 70,000. It's just been a great filly. I don't think she's missed the top two all year long up until tonight. I don't want to jinx her. That's why I want to do this video today. But just been an incredible ride with her. She's just been a really, really nice filly for us.
Did you pay any hybrids in the British Crown?
No. It's so hard because, they have this whole season. And if I was going to pay 2-year-olds into the Breeders' Crown, I mean, at the time when the Breeders' Crown payments are made, pretty hard to pay Swinging Senorita. Yeah. She was her 6th best trotter at that point in Ohio. So
I just was curious if you paid any.
No, I never have, actually. No. Never have. It's good plan. I could have, but then I would have to pay all of them in because she would have been 6th. Mm-hmm. So, just been a great filly for us all year. I can't wait to race her tonight. And as I said, win, lose, or draw. It's just been a tremendous 2022 for us Hutchinsons with the partnership and everybody involved with the Swinging Senorita group. just been a great year all around. Tactical mounds. Scotty loved her training the other day. I said not next week, the week after she's going to race. Might be a little short, but we should get 2 kicks at the can before we get to that 4th leg of the kindergarten, and hopefully the consolation with her, because those would be her last 2 starts. We did not pay her into those late races, so she will race maybe 3 more times. Prep, kindergarten, maybe 4, maybe the consolation, but that's it. What you may see also is prep, kindergarten, field. So we'll see 3, maybe 4 races if we're lucky into still to go for tactical mounds. Tailgate Buzz, great year again. He's off till December. Warwi Uri just comes back tomorrow. He is as fat as a dairy cow. Man, he's big. So a lot of work to put into Warwi Uri.
Dairy cows aren't really fat.
No? It's not dairy cows.
They always have like...
What are the ones we eat that are dairy cows?
No.
I don't care. I'm using it. Unless you can prove to me that they're not.
Well, I can find your picture.
Well, you can if you want, but I'm using it. Unless you can find me a picture of every dairy cow, because all I have to do is find one fat dairy cow, and you have to find every other dairy cow that's not fat. So you can't wait. Just letting you know. Wouldn't it be nice? 2:08 today at First Line. Mario said he's taking her over to school her this week. Good. I still have never seen this filly train a fast mile, not one time. So, and I won't next week either. So, I'm intrigued, and I get to see her as much as you do. So we'll see what happens with Wouldn't It Be Nice this week. We're switching into the 3-year-olds now. Switching gears, we're going to go to the 3-year-olds. Amor Diener, very, very disappointed with this horse. His weight count was a little high. That's all right. His weight count was a little high the other day, but just really disappointed, and he is really close to me just saying, bye-bye. You're going to toodaloo, as Steve says. You're going to have to go somewhere else. Amor Diener, he needs to do a lot more and a lot better. Really soured me the other day with that performance he put in. Let's move this up to here. You know who I jumped over? What a Mission. I jump over a little What a Mission. Love this little horse. He's going to race in the consolation. He has at least 2 more races left this year. Didn't have a great year, but didn't have a horrible year. And I'm excited to race him as a 3-year-old, because I think, again, he is one of these horses that's going to grow up and come back a little more focused. I think he's going to be a really nice horse for us. Arch's Rainbow. I paid her into the race at Mohawk coming up this month, and I didn't ask her if she'd be ready. I assume she'd be ready. I saw her train the other day. She looked great. Looked very, very good. Atlas Hanover, one of our newer purchases. Not our newest, but one of our newer purchases. Raced him in the jug. No, I get to race in the jug anyway. Wasn't my finest performance, and he put in a good effort. Raced great in the elimination and did what he could in the final. He is picked to win. Ronnie Wren is going to drive him on Monday. Now, I did talk to Ronnie yesterday. I told him park the whole way. It's not his best trip. It's not his go-to move. Blue Tesla heading home to Ontario. Home for us, as I said, not home for her. She's going to Ontario. She's going to join Mario's barn. Going to race her in Flamborough and London for a bit. We'll see what we got with the big Tessie. Bravura is also heading home to Mario. She fits a class below Blue Tesla. I wanted to make sure these classes filled. 5-horse field on Monday is where she would fit. So hopefully those horses enter back and we get a 6-horse field next week. Dustin Hanover. Did you see Dustin? You haven't been to Northfield.
No.
And did you see Dustin Hanover before you went out?
No.
Dustin Hanover looked like a 3-year-old. Little frail, little small, needed some weight, looked okay. He come back in as big as a house.
Dairy cow.
As big as a dairy cow. I'm going to go with him. He was massive. He is massive. Great attitude. I jogged him the other day, playing with his head the whole time and jumping around. Just a real good feeling horse. He was meant to be a good horse. I just don't think he was ready to be a good horse when we bought him. He looks ready to be a good horse now, so I hope he trains down good, and I hope he has a great start to the fall, I guess. He'll be racing before 2023, but most definitely his 4-year-old season. I'm going to skip over Isa 10 because now she's a Broodmare. I'm not going to talk about her. I'm just telling you. Garden State DO, I trained in 2.5 the other day. We made a shoeing change. Mario said he was going to go over and school her on for Friday at Mohawk. We'll see how she goes. I only changed her hind shoes. I didn't change her front shoes. I meant to do both, but I said, talk to Mario, talk to the blacksmith. I said, you know what? It's definitely left hind that bothers her. It always has been her whole life. So let's see how she is. I put aluminum egg bars on her behind. No, she might have been a little hard. Might be a little hard on her, but we'll see. I suspect you're going to see a front end shoeing change coming after this week's schooler. But go schooler, see how she is. Maybe I'm wrong. Urbana. That's how far out Urbana is. Got a gemstone ruby rose. I haven't heard from Mary. Did you ever see her train on the track?
Actually, I did on Wednesday.
This Wednesday? How'd she train?
I only saw her finish.
How'd she finish?
Good.
She trotted and finished good.
She trotted.
Well, that's a start. Gemstone Ruby Rose, I suspect, isn't too far away. Also heard Garden State Deal come back in at the same time. Grace is racing out of the 10 hole tonight. And I had somebody text me and said, well, why is she backing to go Wednesday at Northfield? Because that's where she's going. For those of you out there that own more than 5%, more than 4% of Grace, you're going to need Ohio license by Wednesday. And yes, she is back in 5 days because, truthfully speaking, to be quite clear and fair, I don't think she's going to get any money in the final out of the 10 hole. And I know that she can crush the class she's in Wednesday, so we did put her back in. I didn't want to wait. I didn't want to wait 13 days or 12 days or whatever the hell it was to get her back in the class she can win. I suspect tonight is going to be a faster training trip. I can't imagine Chris Christopher is going to leave with her. And to get away 8th or 9th or 10th or 7th or 6th and with those horses doesn't leave a whole lot of room for improvement with Grace. You know, I think she's a nice filly, but she's in with horses that can beat her. Now, 9 can't beat her, but a good 2 or 3 can. Add in the 10 hole. I'm not optimistic. I'm hopeful. I'm realistic. I just think it's going to be a tough race for her tonight. Not tough in the sense that she's going to be emptied out. Tough in the sense that she's racing against horses that are a little tougher than her, some of them, and they all drew inside of her. So I thought, you know what, back Wednesday's not the end of the world, and that's exactly what we did. So we opted to enter her back in Wednesday. She's going to get some fluids run into her tomorrow, onto the truck at Doyle's, and off to Northfield Park. How the Hell was incredible last week. His not incredible. So I guess you might say, well, he was 30, raced good, easy now with incredible, Anthony. We took him to the vet on Monday. Knees really bothered this guy. Not structurally. There's not any bone issue, density issues, or anything like that. Just sore. A sore set of knees. So I suspect now that Harry has a good idea of the entire horse himself, the entire landscape that is How the Hell, I think you're going to see him get better and better and better and better. He didn't get in on Monday. I assume he'll have him back in Thursday. I suspect he'll be a lot better his next start, so keep an eye out for How the Hell. J.K. Mickey Mantle, I thought the horse raced great. I raved about him last night. I think James said he wasn't happy with the way he drove him. I was extremely happy with the way he drove him. I suspect if he had driven him the way he thinks he should and got locked in with him, I might have driven back to Ontario, just strangled him just a little bit before Lexington. But I wasn't disappointed at all. It just didn't work out. The front end speed was hot, collapsed. He really didn't have a chance to get out. He was only maybe 2 pylons from getting clear of all that mess and getting a real run at the leader. He didn't get out in time. It's not his fault. So I was happy with J.K. Mickey Mantle for a horse that left 25-4, got pinned in, and then was closing in 51 and a piece. Pretty good mile for J.K. Mickey Mantle. And I think he elevated his status with James last night too. His schooler, and then his first start he was good, but you watched the race. He couldn't steer him that good. Different animal last night. We did a little work on him. Right knee bothered him. His right splint bothered him a bit. Much, much better now, and very happy with J.K. Mickey Mantle. Massive Profit. We're just trying to get some lines on Massive Profit. A lot of clients said, you're moving all these horses. How does this horse not get moved? Well, we can't move them off breaks and 7th-place finishes. It just doesn't work that way. So we're going to have to get 2 or 3 good lines on him. We'd like to find a place where he could race. I know that he was scratched the other day, but I know that, and Ross Leonard, good for him. He flipped out a little bit. The race secretary at Dayton took and put him in a class he didn't belong from the class he entered him in, and it was too tough. And he just said, no, I'm not racing him in there, and the judges took him out. So good for him. He's in to go in Indiana on Saturday tonight. He's in to go tonight in Indiana. So hopefully he gets a decent line and we can build off that, get some starts under his belt. Eventually he will be moved for sure, but just not there yet with Massive Profit. Matt's MVP was incredible. Here's an exact, they're not always like this and they don't always work out like this, but sometimes when we rest the horses to let them fill out, grow out, mature, and just mature as horses physically, they can come back good. I told you guys when we stopped with Matt's MVP that he could be a good horse. But he's sore. He's hurting. We got to give him time. And the patience of you, our clients, my partners on this horse, allowed us to stop with him and skip over the entire stake season. The entire stake season. That wasn't an easy thing to do. But I believe Matt's MVP is on the cusp of rewarding us for doing that. His maiden victory the other night, 55 flat, looked very, very good. Again, looks like a horse that is on the cusp of being a very nice animal. And I appreciate the confidence our clients had in us and allowing us to rest and miss the entire stake season, because we're going to end up having a very good animal overall, I believe, because of that. My sweet Mimi is staying in Ohio. I like this filly. Her liver was a little high. Her white count was a little high. I'm glad she's also eligible and didn't draw in, because it would have been a chore to get this down. Looks like there might be a little sickness that ran through the burn somewhat. Very low grade, but it was present in the blood work of the horses we drew. Hopefully they get over quickly. There was no coughing or discharge, so it might have been anything from a little bit of a virus to a bug or whatnot, but I believe for the most part either they didn't get it or got over it quickly. That flat night we had the other night in Northfield where they all raced piss poor, that was the night we drew their blood. All their white counts were high. I didn't want to make excuses. It is what it is, but something we can definitely work on. Procrastinator will be coming back in a week or so. I actually asked Jason, I think we were a week short of what we said, so after Lexington you'll see Procrastinator World for 2 make their way back to Northfield. Purple Aura, I'm gonna have to pitch the race today. They're raving about how bad the track was, and all our horses raced terrible. All 3 of them made breaks today, I believe. No, they all did for sure. No, Whispering Song didn't make a break, just went really slow. They were saying how bad the track was. All right, fine, I'll pitch it. Purple Aura, I'm gonna have to give a little asterisk because 2 starts out of 3 out of 4 now she's made a break. I thought she was good in Delaware. I'm gonna have to train her up on Wednesday for next weekend's race. I got to get a feel for if this filly is on the up and up or not. Not very happy seeing these breaks, but we'll deal with them best we can. Red Overbach, 7-5 in the last gold. For those people that were worried that maybe he didn't belong, maybe he couldn't, well, the race secretary didn't agree, certainly not the odds makers. He was 7-5 in London in the last gold, so good luck to everybody in there. Renegade Gypsy Rail tonight has had a great year. We'll continue to race him for a little bit, see where he fits. I know I'm going to be upfront with everybody. For us to keep Renegade Gypsy, he's probably going to have to go somewhere where he's going to be the most effective. It might be Yonkers, so I know a lot of people don't want to hear New York. I don't want to tell you New York. You guys know how I feel about it, but we have to do what's right for the horses. And if the best classifications are in New York for some of these horses, then that's where they're going to have to go. That is not me saying that is where he's going officially right now. I'm just giving you a little heads up. Renegade Gypsy may be heading to New York after his stake season. And somebody had asked me the other day, I heard you were resting the 3-year-olds after tonight's race. If I don't tell you they're on the slate to be rested, they're not. So anything outside of that, like Renegade Gypsy and the 3-year-olds, even Will to Win Hammer those, and the little red guy, Resolute Bay, there is absolutely no plans to rest those horses right now. There are races out there for them, and the end of their 3-year-old season is not like the end of their 2-year-old season. They will race until they say a little tired, maybe a little rest might be helpful, but that is not October 2022. I can assure you of that. And now we're at Resolute Bay, so I think I just nipped it in the bud. Renegade Gypsy is picked for second, I believe. Resolute Bay must be picked to win or be close to it. I think Resolute Bay right now is the better horse, but only by the slimmest of margins. And I think that's pretty evident in the fact that James took him out of the 9-hole over Gypsy with the rail. But make no mistake, I could easily see Gypsy, you factor in the 9-hole, I could see Gypsy winning this whole race and beating his stablemate. But we'll see. We'll see how it works out with the race tonight. Our 2 best shots at Mohawk tonight for sure are Resolute Bay and Renegade Gypsy, I believe. Maybe of the entire night. Hey, wasn't Patrick the Crown racing?
Yeah.
Can you look it up? I think we missed him. Oh,
You're
no, he's at Saratoga.
35 minutes, so you might need to restart the next.
No, I'll be on. Stonebridge Acadi's qualifying next week. Mario trained him in 2.6 today at first line. Very, very happy with him. Sweet on Pete Did not get in the $300,000 final, but hey, good news is she'll likely be one of the favorites, going for 85 next week in the Constellation and 60 in the Buckeye final. So it's not a total loss. And just to be clear, just to clarify, if she raced tonight, she was not eligible to race in either of those 2 races. So it's not really the end of the world that she didn't get in tonight. 3-Point Blue Chip, I know they trained him in 2-1, and I don't know how he's been since then. They trained him last week in 2-1. I talked to Tom briefly the other day. He said the horse trained good, fingers crossed. He jogged great the day after the trainer. That is the biggest thing with him. The day after he trains, how does he jog? He said, I was told he was 100%. He's getting really close, so that's exciting. Tie one on. It's in to go at Yonkers this week. I know Megan said, do you think she'll get around a half? I said, well, she trained on one her whole life, so I think she has a good chance. Not really built super good for a half, but I think she'll get around a half good. For those of you who, I did catch some flack, mostly from my partner Richard on the filly, about selling her and about keeping her as a 4-year-old. It is a slippery slope. You know, it was what I would call a failure with globetrotting. We could have bred globetrotting last year and had a foal next year, and instead she threw up $59,000 in a year and a bit. I think we were on the wrong side of that decision, and you know, I talked to everybody and counsel everybody, we need to learn from our mistakes. Now, tie one on, I personally don't think her breeding is strong enough, and I think she's worth more as a racehorse. So what I'm saying is, she's worth more to sell than she would be to retain and breed for us. And I think that's it. A lot of people look at it and say, oh, well, you can get a good foal. We're not selling any of the foals. Just so we're clear, just so all of my partners understand this moving forward on all the horses. The stable.ca has no interest in selling any of the foals out of any of the mares. So if there's anybody out there that is my partner on these horses, and maybe you're like, well, I didn't know that. I thought I was clear about it before. Maybe I'll be abundantly clear in the future, but I think it's a statement that stands alone right there. There will be no sales at the yearling sale from the stable.ca horses. I have no interest in being one of the biggest buyers of yearlings and also at the same time simultaneously selling. Doesn't work that way. It leaves a bad taste in the mouth of the people that are looking at them, and I can't foresee any other way, anything happening than us being grossly underpaid for any yearlings. The ones we breed, we keep, we'll race. Unless we really don't like them, in which case they can leave. I'm going to throw a little toodaloo out there again. That was our girl, Taiwan we were talking about. Twinbee Habanero, for my partners on him, he's reached the end of his line. He'll be looking for a new home, delivering mail and milk in the Pennsylvania area in the near future. Mark Beckwith told me I do not want to race him, train him, or jog him ever again. And if you want him back, you're free and welcome to. I said that's a hard no. I've done all my time. I can't wait any longer on Twinbee Habanero, and I'm sorry, but there has to be a line drawn in every horse. And he reached mine 3 weeks ago. It didn't take long to get to the bottom of Mark's. So I suspect he'll be hanging out with some bearded folk in the near future. Unbeatable Kemp, he won't be. He trained very good this week. Dominic said, I believe Johnny said he trained very good this week, so he will be racing, I don't know, in a month or so. You trained him? You trained good? Yeah. Will to Win Hanover, again, I'll talk more clearly about some of these well-bred mares as we head into the fall in a video about them to our clients. Will to Win Hanover is racing good. Will to Win Hanover carries a ton of residual value as a broodmare. Her full brother is Crystal Fashion. I looked the other day, only filly I believe out of that mare is Will to Win Hanover also. And the second dam has $1 million win in it also. I think it might have been a European horse because I didn't know the name. But Will to Win Hanover is worth a lot of money in the upcoming breeding season. Is she worth more? Now, I thought this was interesting. I talked to a major breeder maybe a month ago, and they told me not necessarily a mare is worth more in foal than they are to a prospective breeder, which I thought
depends what you have them in foal.
Well, let's say the horse worth 100. Yeah, in 100.
People might not like the sire you chose.
Well, maybe, right? So you say Chapter 7 or Wallen or whatever, you would think at very minimum that horse is worth what it was worth before, plus the stud fee, very minimum. He said it's not always the case. Interesting. I did not know that. So, Will to Win Hanover will not be racing in February of 2023 or ever again after that. either for us or somebody that buys her. I think she's had a lackluster career, but still okay. Tried a 56 the other day, has a mark at 57. Has actually raced rather well since she got to the Meadows, but she hasn't raced up to her breeding. She's raced up to what she believes she should do, but not what the rest of the world does. But as a broodmare, she's worth a lot of money. So a little slippery slope there with some of these horses. And Will to Win Hanover is definitely one of them. World for Two will come back in 2 weeks with Procrastinator. We'll run through the rest of them really quick. Adrenaline Rush got away. I don't know what Scotty was doing. Got away at the back and then 5 wide, literally 5 wide down the backstretch. Not what I would say would be a paint by numbers drive. Not an easy horse to drive. Drew the outside. Hopefully, Paul McKenzie knows him well. Hopefully, his own horse is not in there next week, and he can drive him because I think he is the best horse in that field. But yeah, if you want to get him beat, being 5 wide down the backstretch and around the last stretch, good way to start. It happens. Listen, it's racing. It's not the end of the world. Scott Coulter's a good driver, and he's done rather well for us every time we've listened to him. I don't think it was his finest hour or the horses last week, but we all have those days, don't we? And I have plenty of them. Adrenaline Rush. Next to Adrenaline Rush is good as him. Mark Beckwith likes this horse. I like him a lot. He's in the deeper end of the ocean now at Saratoga this week in the open trot, so very curious to see how this horse is going to do this week. Eglaire AM, Dominic trained her, said she was much better with the shoeing change we went to. Now, even the blacksmith was a little baffled when I asked him to put on. For those of you that are horsemen out there, I think she's hitting in a lot of places she shouldn't. I put a mushroom shoe turned around backwards on her, so the smallest part is at the front of the foot. Not what you would call a go-to move. Bit of a Hail Mary, but we do have stakes in Lexington coming up. I want to see her school or qualify good. I wanted to school her, but October 18th is that Kentucky race, so we are going to have to hang out there a little bit and qualify her next Friday, not school her. So hopefully James can sit behind her again before Wednesday and get a feel for her. But Dominic said she was very good this morning. LD's Patrick will be going back to Ontario. I trained him the other day. 58-3 off a half and 1-1, and the easiest kind of 58-3 you could ever see. He is ready to go, and he is brimming with confidence. You guys know how I feel about this horse. I love this horse, and I can't wait to race him and watch him race all winter. He's just a really likable animal. I guess I always cheer for the underdogs, and this guy was a big underdog when he joined the stable. So super excited to see what he does. I want to scope out a Starbucks or something if you want before we go. Locatelli was great last week. Him and White Tiger have hit the Open this week, which is understandable. That's where they're going to have to go. So good luck to both of them this week. Macho Martini, not a bad pickup. We bought him on Monday, and Friday he was in the winner's circle with Lauren. He's back in to go Wednesday. We did that because we wanted to take advantage of the low money he had earned. We figured that if things went well for Macho Martini in the amateur, which we assumed it would, that he would make that money and he would push him up higher. So why don't we enter him back in 5 days on that short draw at the Meadows, see if we can slide him in that nominals at 5,500. It's exactly the way it worked out. It was a well-planned out attack on the classes at the Meadows. Tim did a great job. Lauren did a great job on the bike. And you know what? The horse did a fantastic job. My Jazz is getting closer. She trained the other day. Looked really good, I'm told. No free lunch. 52-1 off like a millennium. James had a lot of confidence in this horse. You don't see James drive horses like that out of the gate, out of the qualifier very often. Meant to win. 52-1 last quarter in 28, and he looked very, very good. Walk on the Moon, not so good this week. 2 wins in Delaware, but I hate giving this horse excuses. I don't like doing it, but I was told the track is in terrible condition down here. Here they have all the big races tonight, so hopefully they got it in better condition tonight, because I was told that it's not in the greatest condition as of the other day. You could see that Walk on the Moon was struggling quite a bit coming out of the gate. Never usually runs in the straightaway and run right square in the middle of the straightaway. So I'll give him a pass tonight. What do we got next? Walk on the Moon. Compass Rose DC training down with My Jazz. Should be ready at the same time. I want to say a month. Might be, yeah, I'd say it's close to a month. They're both training down very good. Globetrotting is at Megan Scran's barn in Pennsylvania. I told them Mohawk to stop putting my horses in to go with one another. and now globetrotting is gone. Hole in the Tone will be ready soon. We're going to bring him out of the field. I just want to have him. This is the guy I want to be a part of the tip of our spear, so to speak, for the tip of the spear, so to speak, for our fall and winter racing crew. So we want to freshen him up a little bit, put a little weight on him, work on him, and have him ready for when they start back. This season. When they start up the fall season. Sailor he didn't head anywhere yet. He's going to race once more. James buried him the other day. We're going to give him one more start in Ontario. I guess it's start by start, week by week with him. For now, Stay Close is at Dominic's barn. Put on some weight and looks really good. Jogging back. He'll be training soon. Kings County, they put him back in to go. I thought Stacy was going to give him the rest of the season off. And then I see he's back in to go, so I guess they're going to race once more. If she feels he's ready to go and fit to compete, then hey, I'm not going to tell Stacy and Brett Miller, who've done so good with the horse, what they need to do and when they need to do it with Kings County. They can rest him whenever they feel like it. So I guess we'll all have to wait and see when that is. I see he's in to go this week, so good luck to all my partners at Kings County. White Tiger in the Open this week. Really, really happy at the White Tiger's been two of his best races of his life for his last two, so you couldn't have him coming into this race any sharper than he is right now. Yes, I had a bit of colic the last week, and he had to go to the clinic. Ended up costing us a pretty decent chunk of money, but he's back at the barn now. He's fine. We're working on him. That'll set him back a week or so, but it's been abysmal for him the last 3 months. Just one of these things where he's in a funk. The horse is not good right now, so we're going to try and get him back good. We'll take this time to take our time with him, try and get him back get him out in the right foot and get him working better. So yes, we'll probably need a couple more weeks. Patrick the Piranha has been awesome. I asked Mark Beckwith what the plan was. He said, listen, Anthony, when Saratoga shuts down, they shut down for 7 weeks. It's just enough time to give him 3 weeks in the field and 3 or 4 weeks to train him back. If you don't mind, I would like to do that. Why would I mind? The horse has been fantastic in your barn. That sounds great to me. So that's what's going to happen. Somebody said yesterday, what about Yonkers? He can't go forever, right? And we don't want to rest him when he should be racing. He should be racing all winter into the spring to maximize our ability to do well with him. So if Mark wants to rest that horse a little bit for the time that Saratoga's down, that is exactly what we are going to do. Per Lucky races tonight in the Open. A little salty crew in there. I see he's 10 or 15 to 1. So good luck to Mr. Eaton and Per Lucky. And then, of course, Sintra was sensational last night. The horse was, my God, such a nice horse and such a beautiful horse to drive. Got away in the 2-hole, and at no point in the mile did I think I wasn't going to crush him. And that was the best horse in Pennsylvania that he run right through last night. So hopefully that Open fills for another week or two. We can get him racing there. At the same time, edging closer to getting that big paycheck that he earned in PEI off his lines so that he can fit down. Hopefully, he wins the Open there 3 times in a row and goes back to Ontario. I get no problem racing him in the Open. But I do have a problem racing him against tattoo artists and invite horses. I'm not going to serve up our horse as a meal for a horse that is a 47 pacer. Just not going to happen. He was one day, was not today. So we'll take care of Sintra. We'll race him where he can win, wherever that is. We'll continue on that path until he finds his way back to Ontario, which he will. But for now, that's the whole list. 48 minutes. Amy's looking at me because she doesn't think you guys love. She doesn't think that you watched the whole 48 minutes. I think you did. Anyway, that's the whole barn. 2-year-olds right through to 9-year-olds. I did it this week because I'd rather just bring you a few videos. I want all your videos to be yearling videos tomorrow. This is the biggest week of the year for us. This is it. This is the sale that sets the entire foundation for 2023. Yes, there's Harrisburg. Yes, there's Ontario. But it all starts with Ohio, which is over. And for the vast majority of our group, that's the Ohio group. For the vast majority of the stable.ca, everything else coming out of every other jurisdiction, all roads start right here in Lexington. A big week ahead. Lots going on. We had a great night last night. Didn't have a great day at the fair today, but we can hit the reset button tonight. Take care.